I am the WhollyCoder, bringing you the whole code and nothing but the code. I am creating a CMS for a church ministry, and since this ministry cannot function without members, I'm going to begin with creating a member REST API. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I already know that the database has already been created, so what I'm going to do is going to go to the local host, and there's the server, php admin, and it's log on in. Alrighty then. Alright, so I'm going to Faith Worker, which is the name of the ministry. And the members tables, which I'm going to create, I'm going to call it members with a capital M. And then my number of columns, I have 7. ID, email, first name, last name, phone, notes, and then a date added field. So I'm going to have 7, go. Now the first one, since it's going to be members, I'm going to prefix it with member underscore. I'm going to prefix them. So that's member ID, member email, member first name and last name. Then we're going to have phone and notes. And then the last field, we're going to have the date added, which is going to automatically put the once the member is added, it's going to be a date on there, a date stamp. Now this field down here is going to be date time. Member notes, I'm going to make that a text field. Phone, I'm going to make that var char or var car. Last name varchar, first name varchar, email varchar, and then obviously the ID is going to be an int. So the values for the field, I don't think anybody's going to have an email address longer than 100 characters, nor are they going to have a first name longer than 50. I'm hoping not a last name longer than 50. Phone number, we got 10 digits. They're going to probably add 2 parentheses, maybe that's 12, and hyphen 13. So I'm gonna say no more than 15. And besides, I could they can put in what they wanted. I can actually use filter to just only make it accept numbers. I can do that. So, but it doesn't really matter because this is a development. We can always change it. And notes, we don't need to do with that. The default value here is going to be the current timestamp. No default here, but then we're going to have auto increment for that, and then we're going to go. And that's also now this the member ID can't be null, and I'm going to at least require a first name. Actually, no. If I click it, could be no. Yeah. So we're going to require a first name, and then the email, everything else could be. I mean, granted, it doesn't make sense to have a member database that you only have a first name. So you know what? I am going to say that the email, just like that. It just doesn't make sense. We have a ministry here that has, maybe the notes can be null. We have a ministry here that are accepting members to the ministry, and it just makes sense that they're going to have all the information. They may not have notes, so I'm just going to leave that one here. And then the thing I'm going to do here is before I hit save, I'm going to hit preview on the SQL. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to copy this code and I'm going to use it when I create my data model for the member data model. But what I need to do, before I even hit that button, what I need to do, I'm going to create a new project, and I'm going to call it underscore faith worker. And then I'm going to pop that over into Bash. And now it's in Bash, and then I'm going to open it in Atom. And that's going to open up momentarily in Atom. But in the meantime, I need to set some files up. So inside of the root folder here, I'm going to create an index. I'm going to create an index. So we got an index, and we're going to create a directory. Since we're creating the member model, we definitely need a models folder. So I'm going to create a directory. We're going to need a controller, controllers, models, and of course a view. I'm going to call my view public. And then we're going to need an assets directory. So we'll hit enter there, and I'm going to go inside the models folder, and then I'm going to create member .php. So that's going to be for the model, and then I'm going to go to the controller and create members controller. Oops. And members controller. Members controller PHP. So we got our members controller, and then we also have our member model here, and then all we need to do is create a members view. So inside of the public folder, we're going inside a public folder, and then we're going to create the members view directory. So we're in public, and then we are going to create, we're going to create a directory. It's going to be members. And inside that members directory, we're going to create our REST routes, our actions, controller actions. So we are touching index, and then we have our show, and then we have our new, and then we have our edit and create, and then we have our update and delete. So we have all those, and then once we open this up, they should all be there. There we go, all our actions. So now we have our structure pretty much set. We may need an include, but for now we're just going to leave that as such. So if we go to our models, our member PHP, then what we're going to do is we're going to open up the code block, PHP code block, and then we're going to create our member class. Now I'm also going to begin my constructor, and that's going to be public function 2 underscores construct. Now the constructor is going to take one parameter, which is a connection to a database, and then once that connection comes in, we're going to set the object connection to that connection. Now, in addition to that, I have still something on my clipboard for creating the table, because once the member class is instantiated or object is instantiated, I am going to always run a create table query, because you need to make sure that the table is created before you start doing anything to the database. So I am going to run create members table, and that method is going to be down here. Create members table, and inside of this method we're going to have our SQL code, and then if that's still on the clipboard, we're going to pop that in here, and that's going to save a lot of time. And the only thing we really need to do is create table add if not exists, and once we do that, it'll create it if it's not there, and it won't do anything if it is. So all the parameters that are here came from the create, or from the table creation that I started, which I did not hit enter yet. And I'm just going to tidy this up here. So now we have our SQL code, and then we need to run our query. And the query takes 2 parameters, a connection and an actual query. So the connection and then the query. Now, once this method runs, we have everything we need to run the query. And I actually would like to put an error in there, error message in there. So if it's not a result, then we're going to echo error. That's it. So that's going to run. So that should be fine. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to go back to my table, close this out, then I'm just going to hit save. And once I hit save, then our table is going to be created. So here's our table, our members table, and it has no members in it as of yet. So we are cooking with Crisco. Here's the model, the member model. We actually created our members controller file, and we also have our members view here. All of these are going to have obviously the views in it. So this is where we create, and actually this create is not going to be a view, because all it's going to do is run the SQL that's going to actually add the member to the database. And this delete page is not going to have a view either, because from the once you actually, I take that back, the members delete page is actually going to go to the delete, and then I'm actually going to create another file, another page. I'm going to call it destroy. So when a delete action is going to happen, it's going to send the information via GET request to the delete page, and then they're going to get an opportunity to change their mind. And if they go through with the delete, it's going to send it to the destroy page, and then the delete is going to happen. Sometimes you could actually get away with just doing a straight delete. So if you're on, let's just say if you're on the show page looking at one of the members, and you see you have an option to update or delete. So you click delete and it's gone. It's like you need to, I'm thinking it just makes sense to at least give a person an opportunity to confirm that delete, because somebody might get fat fingered and deleted on accident, and just need an opportunity. So I think it's best to do it that way. So in the next video, I'm going to build up the members model a little bit more. I am the WhollyCoder, bringing you the whole code and nothing but the code. Until next time.